Hello there and welcome to Heads Up, the programme that lets you know what's happening here at Coláiste Chiaráin in Croom, County Limerick. Earlier this year, a new initiative was launched to promote all things French here in the school. It involves students in Coláiste Chiaráin making friends with students in French schools and having conversations, not unlike the pen pal system as we know it. But there are plans to take this initiative even further into the 21st century. And to discuss this in more detail, I'm joined by Marie Hackett, who is the Honorary French Consul here in Limerick City, one of only 4 consular agencies in the country. Each consulate represents the French ambassador and French interests in their respective areas. Bonjour Marie, you're very welcome to Heads Up.
Thank you very much for having me here.
I suppose it's fair to say, Marie, that there are already in existence many links between Limerick and with France. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, certainly. You are well aware of the link that exists at the moment between Limerick and Quimper. It has been established about 30 years ago, and it's very much alive, and there are also links between Adair and Villecombe, which is very, very new, and Chartres-en-Bretagne and Newcastle-West.
And you spoke to me about a very special connection with the McMahon family. Tell me about that.
Very special connection, and I'm thrilled to be able to say a few words about it because I think it's very interesting. It's a little bit of history, obviously. At the end of the 17th century, after the Treaty of Limerick, during the Sarsfield episode, and which is also known as the wild geese, the flight of the wild geese, so many young Catholics found themselves dispossessed of their land, and many of them went to France and joined the French army of Louis XIV. And but one of them, who came from Ballinity, a man called Jean-Baptiste McMahon, left for Burgundy and created more or less a dynasty over there. And one of his great-grandson became French president, Maréchal McMahon.
So we have a Limerick man who became the president of France.
Exactly.
We knew we had the royal blood.
At the end of the 19th century, around 1870, well, from 1875 to 1879.
That is phenomenal. We always knew we had royal blood here in Limerick. So. This new initiative that's starting off, and we spoke about the pen pal thing, but this is slightly different, this initiative. What's your impression of the new initiative?
Oh, I think it's a great initiative because first I only became aware of this initiative recently with John Kelly.
The school completion program after, yeah.
And I think it's great to be able to use modern technology, technology, in something that has been always existing. I mean, I'm sure you had, and I certainly had, pen pals in England and America, and the fact of being able to use Skype and...
because it was exciting, but now it's more exciting.
Now it's even more exciting. And it can be expanded, and the children, I mean the students, get to know each other, and it's a great initiative, definitely.
I suppose one of the biggest criticisms of language teaching in this country at the moment, that it's delivered out of context. Students are working in a vacuum. How important do you think it is for students to actually interact or engage with native speakers, to develop their own language skills?
Well, you know very well that the only way of learning a language is to get immersed and to go to the country. Well, perhaps it would be possible to organize twinnings, between
Absolutely.
schools, and I think it would be a wonderful idea to find a pool of families, let's say in Quimper, and a pool of families here in Croom, and who would be able to interact and send their children on a regular basis, because it's a complete different experience. The children do come back with a different view. We live in a place, we live in Ireland, it's a beautiful island, and but we are all very insular, which means we have insular views. And how many times I met Irish people who actually have properties in France who do say to me, I don't need to speak French, I speak English, everybody speaks English. I said, you know, you miss an awful lot.
You miss the culture.
You miss the culture. You miss the day-to-day life. You miss talking to the butcher, to the baker, to the, you know, oh, you miss it all. You can't even imagine not being able to speak French if you go to France. So for the children, it will be, they suddenly realize that when you're on the continent, people speak different languages. It's very, not so much for the older people, but for the newer generation, it's very common to see people speaking 3 languages, and they are so easy about it, comfortable about it, and it's great.
So can I ask you, are there many opportunities at the moment, though, for, we'd say, students here in Limerick to actually interact with native speakers, French speakers?
Yes, there are. We have a very buoyant Alliance Française. It is situated in Paris Square. It's a beautiful building. It's open every day from 9 to 1. There are classes going on the whole day. But what is important, if the school becomes a member, it costs only €10. You can actually receive day after day all the news of France, news of what goes on in Limerick City and so on.
This seems like a very, very exciting initiative. But can I just ask you, do you see you do see yourselves in your office being involved with the future and developing this as a long-term program?
I would love to, in my own capacity, you know, in whatever I can do. I can provide links, certainly, and I can provide names and, you know, people that I came across all along. You know, by all means, if I can be of any help, I will certainly.
This is a fantastic resource, and I could see any of our students who are, we say, preparing for examinations in French. This is a great opportunity to actually develop the spoken skills and the language skills for the students.
That's correct, but I definitely feel that initiative you have here, the Skype, well, I call it the Skype initiative, is a wonderful thing. Because what young people want to do, they don't want to bury their head into a book. What they want to be able to talk to their own peers. About the new soccer result, the new team, Paris Saint-Germain beat Chelsea, and this kind of thing, you know, and it's wonderful. Interacting is the best, really.
Well, hopefully they won't be discussing again about theory and the hand of God, but that's another day's work. Well, that's all we have time for on today's programme. Marie, thank you very much for your very valuable time, and we certainly look forward to working with you in the future. So merci beaucoup. Well, that's it for this edition of Heads Up. Until next time, au revoir.